welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Nasai, and I'm back with another video for you guys today. If you are new, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be a part of the family. So a little bit of background on what I do on my channel. I do lifestyle, beauty, and vlogs, hair, pretty much all of the above. Basically, I just like to educate you guys. Also, you know, helping you guys with the things that I may struggle with and give you tips and tricks, you know, on how to get around it. I am also a phlebotomist. So I also do that on here if you guys want to check those videos out. If you are like me and you basically, maybe this is your first contract, or maybe this might be like, you know, you're in between, but basically this is a transition in what you can do to transition into your next contract, or maybe going back home, you know, all of those things. If you're ever wondering about it, this is a video for you. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and let's just get right into the video. Alrighty, so let's just give a little background. Okay, so let's start here. You have basically, maybe you have 2 weeks left into your contract, or maybe you already finished and now you're trying to kind of scramble, which I definitely recommend do not plan. Like, definitely plan when you're going into the situation, you know? Let's just use an example that you have 2 weeks left in your contract, and basically you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing or what you're going to be doing next. Pretty much by the 3rd or 2nd week of your contract, like when it's towards like ending, you're either going to get you're going to get like another contract maybe started somewhere else, or maybe you might be knowing if you're going to be extending. But towards the end, the last 3 weeks or the last 2 weeks of that contract, you need to be asking your recruiter, hey, like, what's next? You know, are there any other options? Like, be on the lookout. Like, throughout the contract, you should be looking out, like, oh, what's popping? What are the prices? What's the rates going in different cities, different states? You know what I'm trying to say? Just being on top of it. So that's like a really major thing. That's like one tip I would definitely say. So first things first, let's kind of start off with like an example. When it comes to, say you're in Philadelphia and you're going on your like last week or second to last week, because I would definitely not recommend you waiting till the last week to do anything. Like, no. That week you should be clear-headed. You should be able to know like where you're going next. Everything's gonna be situated, plane tickets or driving, like everything. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you already packed, like everything should be already squared away on that last week. So I would say going on to your 3rd to 2nd week, that's when you need to be making plans. Throughout your whole contract, I would be looking at different prices, different rates when it comes to different contracts and stuff like that. Like, that should just kind of be a given. Like, just kind of keeping up to date with different things. And that I recommend that 100%. So my recommendation or my tip or major tip is kind of having a game plan. Like, are you going back home? Are you going to continue doing contracts? Are you going to go to another contract? That needs to be figured out. Okay, so once you have that figured out, say you're in Philadelphia, you're doing a contract currently in Philadelphia, and now you're going to get shipped out to Florida or Texas or something like that. That transition process is pretty much what we're about to talk about. My number one tip is, okay, when is your start date from the point that you finish to your next contract? Say you end October 25th and you don't start till November 12th. Up into that time frame, where you gonna go? Me personally, I like to get it right after the next. So if I end October 30th, my next contract should be going November 8th. Like, it only gives me, like, I like to give myself about a week, because you never know what may happen, what you gotta do. You kind of want to give yourself a little bit of a break also. I mean, if you want to just hop right into it, it's up to you, you know. That's just what you can handle. Me personally, I just want that time, especially if I'm going to a different, like, whole nother state or hours away. Like, if I'm in Philadelphia and I'm going to Florida, that's some hours away if I'm driving, or vice versa. So that last week, now that I figured out, okay, I know I'm going to Florida, this is what I'm going to be doing, my contract's going to be there. I already looked up the address to the hospital, so I know exactly what city, state I'm going to be in. Now my next step is to find housing. You know what I'm trying to say? What am I going to do? Like, you know, are there hotels cheap enough? Are the prices good? That will be my next step, is finding your housing. Where you're gonna stay, all of that, what's nearby. Like I said in my other videos, if you guys want to check that out, it will be linked down below and up here in the little tab thingies. But I speak about, you know, the importance of finding what's near around you, finding a median place where it's close enough to your job, also close enough to the stores, you know, and it's in a safe area. So that's your main tips when it comes to like housing. So now that you have your housing together, you want to kind of figure out your transportation. When it comes to transportation, you have multiple things when it comes to that. Depending on the company, most companies definitely offer reimbursement, travel reimbursement. So the price can range from different things. Some people may charge per mile, may charge you a flat rate, up and back type thing. But say I ended this contract in Philadelphia, I should be, unless you're hopping right back into another contract. But if you have like a week or so off before you start your next contract, you already got your before travel reimbursement in the beginning when you went to Philadelphia. Now when you're coming from Philadelphia, they're gonna pay you also. And then also they're gonna pay you, they should be paying you depending on the time frame, going to Florida. If you kind of get what I'm trying to say, I really hope this makes sense to you guys. So basically, normally you get an up and back reimbursement, travel reimbursement from your company or travel company, okay? And every contract after that, you should get a before and after, unless you're starting like right after. Like say today I end and then 3 days I start another one. No, they're just gonna give you a flat travel reimbursement going back and up. That's it. Like, you know, say if the price is like, they give you $500 up and back, you'll get $500 going up to Philadelphia, and then on your way back going to Florida, they're just gonna give you $500, and that will be your, if you can, I really hope that makes sense. Oh goodness. So that's pretty much that, if that explains it. So again, but if you do wait like maybe like a week or something, then, or if you go straight there, you know, then that situation may happen. But yeah, dang. So they will pay you, and that will come in your checks. Now, it will be your last check when you're going away. And I think you do have to apply for that. But that part, literally your recruiter will definitely explain that a lot more. If you're not understanding or grasping what I'm saying, I promise you your recruiter should be able to, they can, you know, just say they know it best of all, but they will be able to explain to you a lot deeper, you know, how much it's going to be, this and this and that, the time frames and all of that. So do not be worried, do not be afraid, you know, that answer will be answered, or that question will be answered from them. It's that easy. So now that you have your money when it comes to like as far as travel reimbursements, but maybe you're going from different, you're in the transition process of going from into another place. How are you getting there? Are you going to be driving? Are you going to be flying? Like, are you going to fly and then ship your car? Like, it's a lot of different things that you can choose from. Me personally, I prefer to drive. Yes, like my most recent contract, it was like 16 hours away. So from that point to where I had to go, or where I lived to where I had to go, was like 16 hours. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's a lot, but I was able to do it, you know. I started from like 5 a.m. and I drove all the way to close to destination, and I had like a midpoint where I was going to stay, and that was, okay, so I came from Florida to Texas, and my midpoint time frame, or where I was going to lay over at, was Louisiana. And so I drove 8 hours all the way to Louisiana. I stayed the night and then got up at 7 a.m., got some breakfast, and then drove all the way from Louisiana to Texas. And you can do the same thing, you know, if you're going to different places. I definitely recommend taking that pit stop because it definitely helps, you know. You don't want to overwork yourself. So that's the situation when it comes to driving. You can drive and things like that, or vice versa. So if you choose to not drive, here are your options here, okay? So you're not driving, so you don't have a car. So you need to figure out, okay, how are you going to get from point A to point B? Are you going to be flying? So say you fly, or maybe you take the megabus. I don't shame nobody's game, or maybe the train. Like, I've just never done those options, but there's lots of options out there to get point A to point B, just knowing your time frame and everything like that. But say you're flying, okay, so you fly from point A to point B, but when you get there, how are you going to be traveling back and forth to work? How are you going to, like, what is your game plan there? So that would kind of require you to get a rental car. and you would kind of figure that out when time comes. And all that. It's like simple as just give me your ID and, you know, credit card and all of that vibe. You know, when you call there, they should explain that to you as well, the rental car place, and how to set that process up. So yeah, with that situation. But say if there's another option, if you want to fly and you don't want to drive all the way, and you also want to have your car. You know, there are options there. You can literally get your car transported from point A to point B. Process is pretty much, there's companies. I will leave some companies down below. I don't know them off the top of my head, but many of you may know that I had my boyfriend come with me to my other contract, and he wanted his car up there as well. So I drove us up there, and then maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, we got his car shipped up here, or over here to Texas. So that is an option. There's lots of companies out there. You really just got to do your research. Again, it's always about research. Look into the different companies and their prices. The prices literally can range anywhere from $500 to maybe $1,200, depending on how far close the states are, or maybe you might get a good deal, or maybe you might have like a specific company that does really, really well with that. So that's that pretty much option. You can fly and then get your car shipped up, so you don't have to get a rental car, or maybe you just fly and your hotel is so close to the hospital where that all you really have to worry about is like you could walk, or maybe you can Uber. You know, that is an option too. It's totally up to you, you guys. Honestly, like the options are endless pretty much at that point. My plan, if and when I do another contract after the contract that I'm on now, so you guys already know, you already have where you're going to be going, how far close, transportation is pretty much taken care of. You have a little bit of time, maybe like a couple days or a week, to give you that time frame to be able to get there, get settled, and have everything, you know, pretty much set in stone. And that I recommend having a week off to kind of get yourself just mentally prepared and ready. You know what I'm saying? Now you're going into a different state, different area, different territory. You know, you want to learn your area before you just jump right in and, you know, should I say start swimming, you know? But if you're just that type of person who doesn't really care about that, then again, that's just up to you. To each its own, you know, however you like it, you know? So I'm going to kind of give you guys my game plan. I kind of want to explain like a detailed game plan, what I would be doing in my transition process. So literally right now it is the second week. Let's say it's the second week going into the end of my contract. The place that I'm at is not going to be extending, so I am going to be going to another place. I already spoke to my recruiter. I had an interview with the next contract people, or the next hospital that I'm going to be working at. I got the offer. I'm in the process of signing my contract. I already pretty much, what I already did is, okay, this is the option. When I sent like, oh yes, I want to do this option or do this hospital, when I sent that over, automatically I started to look for hotels in that area. I started to look for food places in that area. Am I going to be staying in a hotel? Am I going to be staying in an apartment? All those things were running through my mind, and I started to look. Once I kind of be like, okay, yeah, this is an okay area, or maybe I want to live 20 minutes away because that area may not be as suitable for me and my lifestyle. So, you know, this is going to be the traveling time, and just mentally planning out, okay, if I got to get up at 3 a.m., but I'm 30 minutes away, maybe I have to get up a little earlier, or vice versa. You know, all those things should be going throughout your head. And so then I figured that part out, and now again, it is still the second week. I got my contract together. I just got to sign it. You know, I'm looking up hotels. I'm calling. And when you are talking to hotel people, you actually speak to their financing team. Speak to them directly. Don't be like asking a manager, or you could talk to a manager, but ask when you call, they'll be like, hey, can I speak to your finance team? And once you have that, then you explain to them, hey, like I am a travel nurse, healthcare worker, and all that. So I do have that week of a window, and I'm driving, I'm getting there, and things like that. Also, make sure you're saving your gas tickets. This is just a tip to throw in there. Save your gas tickets, save your tickets for everything. receipts or whatever, because you will be able to put that towards your taxes and get money back, because basically you are traveling because of your job and you can get money back from that. So make sure you're always saving your tickets for any and every situation, you know. So that's just a tip. But so I'm there, I get there or whatever, and safer say I wanted to not drive, but I wanted my car again, I would just fly. And obviously that would be a little bit more money, and may or may not be enough. Like the money that they give you for travel reimbursement may not be enough for you to do all of that, but all that comes into play or whatever. You kind of just know if you're gonna dish out that money to get your car shipped up, like, you know, like all that stuff. But with these contracts, I'm not gonna lie, the money's great, and you really pretty much wouldn't have to worry, you know. But obviously everybody's situation is different. You may have more stuff to pay for back at home, you know, maybe like a mortgage or a couple other cars, or, you know, children, you know, like there's everything, you know. It's just your numbers that you have to play with, and is it even really worth it to go there? You know, that's what you would have to figure out. If you're like me, where you have a lot of stuff, literally I already started packing. Like, I'm talking about like all my stuff that going out, clothes that, like, you know, I already know these last couple of days, last week, 2 weeks, I'm not really going to be going anywhere. You know, I may save like a one outfit that looks really, really nice, you know, so just in case that we want to go somewhere. I mean, it's in a suitcase, so it's easy to get to. But majority of my stuff is already packed up in a suitcase. I literally already washed most of my clothes, you know, to go back home with. What else? Most of the food, I'm cutting down on the food that I'm purchasing. Like, I'm not going to be buying cases of anything, like waters, like we just drink the jugs or whatever, and just kind of eliminating anything that I have to carry with me on my trip, you know. Again, if you're flying, there's really not much you can bring when it comes to food anyways. But if you're driving like me, I like to still have like my separate like little cooler. That is a tip. Going up and back, I carry a nice size cooler. I put ice in it, and then I keep the ice in a plastic bag, and I place it in the cooler, and I put like my cold water bottles, my, you know, anything that needs to be chilled, I put inside of there, so that we're not constantly buying food. That's like a good tip to honestly save money for yourself, and if you're bringing children or people with you. So yeah. Or my next tip when it comes to your transitioning traveling this is really for the car option if you are going to be driving back and forth or whatever, or even shipping your car. Regardless, your car is really important, and it's really good to basically make sure that everything is up to par. So I'm talking about like getting another oil change, making sure your tires are all full, no blowouts, none of that stuff. Making sure that you have an extra spare tire in the back. I already said oil change. Making sure you're getting like pretty much a checkup on your car before you get onto the road, because it would be sucky if you leave 5 a.m. in the morning and basically say you have a blowout, or say something just messes up. It's 5 a.m. in the morning or 4 a.m. in the morning, and you're driving as a female or as an individual by yourself. I don't like that. So I always say make sure your car is like top tier, up to par. The day before you actually leave to hit the road, make sure you fill your car up with gas. Just safety measurements, like 100%. Like I really pretty much recommend this. That's really what I'm trying to say here. Also, another tip that I kind of recommend when it comes to transitioning into your new contract is obviously take what you had from the last job that you have or previous jobs. Take your experience, but do not take your habits. I said this to say is because every facility is different, every manager is different, everything is different. Me personally, when it comes to this, can go for literally any situation. If you're a new traveler, or you've been in the game, and or you know you're doing your second contract, and you know all those things, is every place is different, every facility is different, every state is different. You get what I'm trying to say? So there's different people, different cultures, there's different everything, different territories. And all I'm saying is don't be fearful. You know, it should be a fun experience for everybody, but just know that when you're in a different place, the things that you're used to may not be the same in another state or another hospital, or maybe not even be accepted or whatever. So just keep that in mind whenever you're going into something, yes, you may be new to something, but do not act like you are new. And even if you have questions, like I said in my other videos, feel free to ask them, because you won't know if you don't ask. You know what I'm trying to say? So that is just like another tip that I would say. And be mindful about what you talk about to other people. Literally, I have seen this a lot in my most recent, travel adventures and contracts and things like that, is where people may start to ask you, hey, are you planning on extending? Or they may say, oh, I'm not going to extend. Or they may downplay the facility to give you an impression that you should not like the place. And y'all, all I'm gonna say is take everything with a grain of salt, because I say this to say that you never know what people or what their plans are. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like this I like had people come to me like, yeah, I'm leaving, I'm not doing this, I'm going somewhere else, this place is so trash. To me, I love the place. Like, I was like, this is straight, like I have no problem with it. But obviously them saying that, it gives you like a little should I be? But I just knew myself and knew what the situation was, and I also knew how much they were paying, y'all. So that didn't really deter me. But when time came for the point where the contract was supposed to stop for them, it passed and they ended up extending. And I already extended, but it was just like, you just said that you weren't extending. You were just talking so bad about the situation that, to get me to feel like as if I shouldn't extend, because some people are just really messy like that. So I'm really just trying to show you guys that keep, certain things to yourself is what I'm saying. Be on your P's and Q's about a lot of stuff. Be careful what you say. Be careful how you act. Literally, the way you present yourself reflects on the companies as well. And you just don't want to show a bad rep for any situation. A lot of hospitals are connected. A lot of supervisors and things like that are connected. And you just want to always leave yourself in a good situation at all times. Be aware of your surroundings at all times, for safety, for if you're like me, like spiritually, like, I believe in God, and I feel like a lot of things, can happen when you get into different territories and different atmospheres and things like that. So stay prayed up, stay, focused, and handle your business. Like, this is going to be an experience for you, and I definitely recommend it for everybody. Again, it gives you the time to be able to travel, to make money, to make more money than what you're making now, to have experiences and meet different people. I 100% love travel in the healthcare field, travel phlebotomy, travel everything, So I really hope you guys are able to get the chance to spread your horizon and have fun with it. So good luck, everybody. And yeah.